Good evening, SICW wrestling fans. Welcome to another SICW Sunday Night Update. I'm joined with promoter Herb Simmons, and Herb, we are less than a week away from the big fundraiser at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds.
Big fundraiser that we've been talking about for several weeks now, next Saturday, February the 5th at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds. Chief Al Lapointe going through some medical issues that we've been telling all of our viewers, and we appreciate everybody who has been sending their support in, either by way of sponsoring a match or by the ad book or just buying tickets to be there.
Absolutely. And speaking of buying tickets, tickets are still available right now. SICW.org. Get your tickets. We do have some limited table sponsors left. You could get purchase a table with 8 tickets to the event to get right in there at ringside to watch that great night of wrestling entertainment. And in addition to the wrestling, there's some other special events going on that night.
Exactly. At 5 o'clock that evening, it's going to be a fire apparatus display there at the fairgrounds. A lot of the local fire departments and even some from the Rock Community Fire District in Missouri going to participate in that. Be there and show off their equipment at 5 p.m. The doors will open at 6 o'clock. Got a silent auction, I understand, with a lot of great gifts available for that. That will be going on throughout the evening. Hopefully Al, Chief LaPointe, is going to be able to attend it along with his family. Getting a lot of the old timers and the fire, EMS, law enforcement that have worked with Al or just know him, know the kind of guy he is, talking about showing there to come out and show their support.
Absolutely. Some great interviews that you've been putting up with a lot of his former co-workers, his former leaders, supervisors, and just great to hear of what a guy Al's been through the years. Kind of a little jokester sometimes with some of the guys, like to be kind of the light of the party. And, you know, earlier this week you caught up with a gentleman that had some great things to say about his years with working with Al Lapointe. Let's take a listen to that now.
Good day, Facebook followers. Herb Simmons coming to you once again on our road to the February 5th big fundraiser for our good friend Chief Al Lapointe. As we've been telling you now for several weeks, we're in this battle with him. Him and his family's not walking it alone, and that's what we're doing. We're going around the counties here in St. Clair County and over into Missouri, where he's the battalion chief for the Rock Community Fire Protection District, talking to some of his co-workers and friends. And boy, I'm honored today to be here with one of his longtime friends and a friend of mine for many years.
Yes, you have been.
Carlos Hill here at Sugar Creek,
yep.
Where you're kind of you're the paramedic, the jack of all trades, but you've always been that way.
Well, I officially retired in April and from a long career in EMS, and I was bored to death, and I had all those years at Breeze, but this is a little more volunteer here, and I have a lot of good friends here, and I'm just fortunate enough I come over here and hang out about 4 hours a week, and we tell stories.
Well, that's good. Tell stories like the EMS stories. But speaking of stories, you've been following what we're doing for our friend Alfie.
Yes.
And I know you and him go way back.
Yes.
Tell our followers.
Long time.
How long have you known Alfie?
Oh, boy. I'd have to say 30 years probably, at least. Alfie worked for me way back in the day, early 90s at MedStar. As did our friend Nick Persia. I saw where Greg Freeland mentioned him the other day, God rest his soul. But Alfie worked for me there way back in the day. And so I've been fortunate enough to keep track of Alfie, especially when he went to Rock Township, and was proud of him for that. I always am so proud of people that I knew that went off to be even more successful, you know, the Alfies and the Doug Wecks and so on. And so I took great pride in that. And hopefully maybe I had a little influence on that. You never know. Alfie was kind of a kid when he worked for me, but good person. And I'd just like to reiterate, everybody you've talked to talks about how Alfie came running. And he's one of the school of people that I go from way back, and they all do that. They all come running to help a friend, all of them. And Corey Ellis mentioned that, Greg Freeland mentioned that, and along with many others. And that's how EMS goes. They all come running.
Well, and that's kind of what we're doing here now. You heard Carlos say that and that's true throughout the EMS system.
Yes. Yep.
And to law enforcement, and especially in that brotherhood of the firefighting
Yes.
industry. And that's what we're doing now. That's why we're out here today at Sugar Creek in Trenton, Illinois, just trying to get a little bit more and let you know the insight of what Chief Al LaPointe meant to so many people. He's got friends all over both Missouri and Illinois.
Yes.
And on Saturday night, February the 5th, at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds in Belleville, Illinois, we're going to fill the building. For years you've heard these firefighters say to fill the boot because they had fundraisers they were doing, but now it's fill the building for our good friend Chief Al LaPointe. You can go to SICW.org, find out how you can come help out, support this great cause. All the proceeds will go to him. There's going to be a fire apparatus display that evening at 5 p.m., followed by a silent auction throughout the evening. And then at 7 p.m., Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling will put on a live professional wrestling match. And as I said, all the proceeds will go to Chief Al LaPointe and his family.
Yes.
Carlos, I know it's your friendship goes way back with him.
Yep.
And I'm sure he'll appreciate the kind words. And is there any one story out there that sticks out in your mind with Alfie?
I could tell
Some
that.
you can tell and some you
I
can't.
could tell that one time. I can remember when Alfie failed to wash an ambulance, and I kind of did something with his little Xbox he was playing. But he'll understand that story and laugh about it. But good guy, and was always there when you needed him. I don't recall that when Rhonda, my secretary, would call out for overtime. I recall that Alfie would be there. And I'd just like to say one final thing. You talk about fill the building. I know people see this that know me. And come on, guys, we got to get out there and do this for a brother, because he would do that for us. So February 5th, mark it on your calendar, and let's get out there and fill that building. There's no excuse not to fill that building.
There you go. And right now, Alfie's planning on being there with his family. Hopefully his medical treatments continue to go as they're going, and come on out. You'll be able to wave at him and say hi to him. But Saturday night, February the 5th, Belle Claire Fairgrounds, we want to see you there.
There you go.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Herb.
Well, and I think that's some good medicine for Al to hear some of those memories when he worked with people like Carlos and Tom Poor, who we had in, just many of the people that he grew up with and worked with. So, you have different kinds of medicine. You have the medicine that the doctors prescribe you, and then we have the old-fashioned, hey, let's sit down and tell some stories and bring back some memories and some good laughs. And that's what we're hoping to do with this, put this video package together. So when Al may be having one of those bad days, he can throw that in there and listen to some of those ribs that his coworkers used to play on him.
Absolutely. Definitely going to be a great time coming up this Saturday night. Belle Claire Fairgrounds, February 5th. The event will start at 5 p.m. Wrestling starts at 7. Don't miss your opportunity to be there. Tickets are on sale now, SICW.org. And Herb, let's talk a little bit about the wrestling. Some interesting matches happening that night.
Yes, lumberjack match. You've been around the lumberjack matches before, and this is going to be a great one, the main event. The man who was trained by the great Harley Race, Superstar Steve Fender, will be in the action. Of course, when you have Superstar Steve Fender, you know who's always there.
The one and only Travis Cook. And Herb, probably unbeknownst to you, I was able to catch up with Travis Cook a little earlier this week just to see what his thoughts were about wrestling returning, and got a little recorded message from Travis. You want to take a listen to that?
I can't wait.
Folks, let's take a look at that now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As promised, I was able to catch up earlier this week with the one and only Travis Cook. And Travis, you've told me you have a message you want to bring to the fans of SICW about our great upcoming fundraiser for Chief LaPointe at the fairgrounds on February 5th, and then about what's going to happen when you return to the East Carondelet Community Center on February 12th.
Well, certainly there's a lot going on around the area in the next couple of weeks, no doubt about that. And I understand on February the 5th in Belleville, the fairgrounds, they're raising money for a great cause. And I just couldn't help but think back to when I was a kid. You know, one of the greatest ways to raise money for a worthy cause, and this is a worthy cause, one of the great ways to raise money for a worthy cause is to bring out some star power. And I thought back to when I was a kid, when it'd be Labor Day and you'd see the Jerry Lewis telethon, and he'd bring out all these big stars, and they did really well with it. He'd bring out Wayne Newton, and he'd bring out, Donnie and Marie Osmond, and he'd bring out Menudo, and one time he brought out Frank Sinatra, and they did really well with that for a lot of years. So no doubt the people that are putting together this fundraiser for Chief LaPointe know that the way to do it is to bring out the big stars. They call it the Travis Cook organization. We were more than happy to oblige. But with all the good things that are going on that night, I will mention that for us, it is still all business. Big main event there with superstar Steve Fender against Bobby D in a lumberjack match. I was kind of surprised when we were approached with that match. Superstar wrestled Bobby back in October in Belleville, and I thought we settled everything there. Superstar beat him clean as a whistle in the middle of the ring. Didn't think we'd have to deal with Bobby D ever again, but he wants a rematch. He's going to get one. They put it as a lumberjack match, which seems a little bit odd to me. Usually you only have a lumberjack match if you're afraid of someone leaving the ring or running away or something like that. Well, Superstar never does that. But I think I know why Bobby wanted it. Bobby wanted a lumberjack match, so some of his friends will be out there, and if he gets in trouble like he did last time, maybe one of his friends will hand him a pair of brass knuckles or a roll of coins or something and see if he can kind of get a cheap shot that way. But um, even though Bobby's friends are going to be out there in the lumberjack match, we're going to be out there in the lumberjack match too. So if they try anything, we'll be there to stop them, and you may see a fight on the floor just like you're going to see a fight in the ring.
But now they're going to steal some of those outside weapons from members of your organization, because usually it's your guys that are bringing those to the ring.
No, we don't do that. We do not use foreign objects in matches. We do not use outside interference in matches. You'll notice the outside interference and the foreign objects have been coming from the other side a lot lately. February 12th, Jason Breed has this big opportunity against Attila Khan for the Classic Wrestling Championship, right? And everybody's making a big deal about how Jason Breed pinned Attila Khan in a 6-man tag match a couple of months back. But how did Jason Breed get that pinfall? He got that pinfall by outside interference when Flash Flanagan came in from behind and hit Attila Khan with a stick. So you want to know who's interfering in matches and who's using weapons? It's the other side. It's not us. We're just trying to survive with all of the chicanery going on around us, but survive we will. Because Jason Breed, when it's one-on-one with a Classic Wrestling Champion on February the 12th, and you don't have Flash Flanagan there to bail you out, and you don't have people running in with sticks and canes and whatever else, and you got to deal with Attila Khan with a heart punch one-on-one, we're going to find out how bad you are. You think you're Santa Claus and wanting to give out stupid little gifts to people. Well, we put you in your place there on television a couple of months back, and then you tried to run in on us later. Well, you're going to try that on February the 12th. It's not going to happen. February 5th in Belleville, Bobby D's going to get pulled through his hoop. And after all is said and done, we're going to raise some money for a great cause. And as usual, the Travis Cook organization is going to be on top like we always are.
Well, Travis, we might have some differing opinions on why you're going to be there and what popularity you're going to have amongst the crowd. But certainly there is an element that supports the Travis Cook organization. And because of the importance of this fundraiser, regardless of what it takes to get people out there to fill the building, we'll gladly accept any assistance the Travis Cook organization wants to provide.
Well, we certainly are humanitarians and philanthropic individuals. You can ask anybody about that. I only asked for one limo this time to take me to the show. So, I'm making my sacrifices too. And we all are, and we're all doing this for a good cause. And but as I say, it is all business once we get there. And we've got some scores to settle and some championships to retain. And hey, as I recall, I believe Ken Costa's got a shot at the Central States title on February the 5th against Gary Jackson. So some more gold coming our way. So it's going to be a great night all around. I understand from what I've heard that some of the support around the community for this has been great. I've seen it on the news out here on Channel 4. The community's already making their voice heard and really doing well by this already. I'm encouraged to see that. And we're going to have a great night on February the 5th. And after it's all said and done, when we've supported the chief and we've donated a lot of money, you're going to see the Travis Cook organization on top, and it'll be a great night all around.
Well, Travis, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing what happens on February 5th, and then when we return back to East Carondelet on February 12th. We'll see you at those matches.
The pleasure was all yours.
Well, Travis Cook is pretty proud of himself there.
Well, he's always proud of himself, and anywhere he's at, there's always turmoil when it comes to the professional wrestling business. Of course, he thinks he rules the wrestling world, and of course that main event, superstar Steve Fender, like I said, the man trained by the late great Harley Race, going to be taking on one of Belleville's own, a friend of ours, Bobby D, who comes with usually a good entourage of his youngsters that he helps train with the amateur wrestling. So hopefully they'll show up for
Maybe
us.
we should make some of them the Lumberjacks. I'm sure they'd like to get a lick or two in on maybe even Travis.
Travis, yeah, maybe if Travis gets near the ring, maybe the Lumberjacks will take care of him. And for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with what a Lumberjack match is in that main event, the other wrestlers will be around ringside, and if one of those two men in there that are going at it gets thrown out, it's their job to help him get back in the ring is easy or hard as possible.
I might have to talk to a few of those guys and see if maybe there's an opportunity for some of them to hold Steve out and a couple to throw Travis in there and let Bobby D have a couple minutes with him.
Well, and the good thing about this is we're going to have a lot of the first responders there. And from some of the guys that I know from back in the day, we may have to recruit some of them to help.
Absolutely. And Herb, as we heard Travis talk about there, February 12th, the return to the East Carondelet Community Center. He's got some unfinished business with Jason Breed.
Well, as we said before, Jason Breed is the reason why the War Machine got unmasked and disclosed the identity of it being the beast himself, Telecon. So that's one strike, 1 point for Jason Breed, and then he scored a victory over him in a tag match. Mm-hmm. So now it's going to be one-on-one on Saturday night, February the 12th, just 1 week later at the East Carondelet Community Center, title on the line. I mean, Jason Breed has got all the momentum, has nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Absolutely. And speaking of gaining, a body slam challenge that night. We get to see Danny Dollar go against Kowalski, and in the month off, do we think Kowalski has gained anymore?
We can find out on Saturday night, February the 12th. Kowalski, 450-plus pounds, and he is a mountain of a man. Of course, Danny Dollar making a trip back up from the Tennessee area to be with SICW, and what a phenomenal shape that he is in. So I'm really looking excited at that. Other matches will be on the card that night. Of course, that's Saturday night, February the 12th, and then Sunday we'll be there Sunday afternoon for the TV taping.
Absolutely, Sunday, February 13th. Anybody that joins us Saturday night gets a free ticket to join us back there on Sunday for the TV taping for these Sunday night episodes. Once we're back into the recording studio that Sunday, you're going to start seeing more SICW action right here on Sunday nights.
Without a doubt, and that's what we're doing. SICW, we're getting back into the swing of things like so many of the other organizations are doing, trying to bring the fans the best in the professional wrestling here in the Midwest, and SICW is setting that bar. We're going to have some more announcements coming down the road here with some more TV outlets. Which we're working on right now. So the way you find out is stay tuned here every Sunday night at 8 p.m.
Absolutely. Sunday nights, 8 p.m. We'll continue to bring you the best as we've done the past few weeks. We're going to close out tonight with a little classic wrestling footage from the days of wrestling at the Chase. So until we see you Saturday night at Belleclaire Fairgrounds, take a look at this match. Have a good night, everybody.
The first main event, a one fall with a 20-minute time limit, an Australian tag team match. Introducing from Denton, Texas, weighing 238 pounds, David Von Erich. From Omaha, Nebraska, weighing 250 pounds, Ted DiBiase. From Germany, weighing 283 pounds, Von Raschke. And from Waxahachie, Texas, weighing 260 pounds, Dick Murdoch. Referee Lee Warren, Chuck Raleigh.
Dick Murdoch and Von Raschke, a rough and tumble combination if you've ever seen one, against Ted DiBiase and David Von Erich, two of the finest young wrestlers you also will ever see. Believe me, when you talk about top contenders for who might be the world heavyweight champion after Ken Patera and title holder Harley Race square off, you can pick any one of the four men in the ring in this match, and either Race or Patera, who's ever the world champion, would have his hands full. Murdoch Goes behind DiBiase. Atomic knee drop. DiBiase blocked it. DiBiase blocked it. He lifts Murdoch, and atomic knee drop by DiBiase to Dick Murdoch. Ted DiBiase back in St. Louis for the first time in over a year, and he bounces Dick Murdoch with that atomic knee drop. Murdoch had to tag in Von Raschke, and Raschke hasn't been on St. Louis television for about 3 or 4 years. Beautiful fireman's carry by Von Raschke. Don't kid yourself about Von Raschke. He is a brilliant wrestler. He has a terrible temper. He always did when he was one of the finest amateur grapplers in the country. He excelled in Greco-Roman wrestling, but that temper always was in the way. He could lose his temper easily. He hasn't changed at all in the professional ranks, but he has so much skill, so much power. Well, he's almost unstoppable. And right now it's Von Raschke in the ring against Ted DiBiase. Raschke, who claims to be the true master of the Iron Claw. And you know that Raschke jumped at this opportunity because he has a showdown coming up with David Von Erich, and the day he's across from David in a tag team affair. Here comes David Von Erich. He grabs Raschke and bangs away on Raschke's head. Side headlock by David Von Erich on Von Raschke, who has an open challenge to any of the Von Erich family for a Battle of the Claws. Well, he has that coming up now against David Von Erich. The Battle of the Claws, Von Raschke and David Von Erich. And of course, also coming up on that same card, the battle between the Missouri State Champion Ken Patera and the World Heavyweight title holder Harley Race with Lou Thez, the all-time great, the native of St. Louis, as the special referee. Raschke pitches Von Erich to the ropes. Von Erich over the top, and with a drop kick, floors Von Raschke. Side headlock, over the hip, down goes Raschke. David Von Erich in command and keeping a close eye on Dick Murdoch. Raschke trying to put the shoulders of David Von Erich down, but couldn't keep him there. He tries once more. Lee Warren, here's the crowd yelling, and catches Von Raschke, pulling tights, and then shoves David Von Erich back over on top. Side headlock by David Von Erich on Von Raschke. And Lee Warren balls out Dick Murdoch, chases him back to the corner because Murdoch was reaching in. Raschke trying to struggle to his feet. Von Erich with that side headlock on Von Raschke. Raschke's been dominating main events throughout the Southlands in the last year or so. Raschke pitches Von Erich to the ropes. Hip toss by Von Raschke. He goes for the claw and misses. Von Erich rolled away. There's that side headlock again. Raschke making an early attempt to catch David Von Erich with the claw. Here comes Murdoch. He's got the tag rope, and DiBiase gets there first. DiBiase grabs the tag rope away from Murdoch and puts it around Murdoch's throat. DiBiase strangling Murdoch with the tag rope that Murdoch brought into the ring. Well, that certainly backfired on Dick Murdoch. He pulled that tag rope loose and came running after David Von Erich, but Ted DiBiase came to the rescue of David Von Erich and ended up strangling Murdoch, which was what Murdoch had in mind for David Von Erich. David Von Erich over the top of Raschke, hits the rope, oh, and Raschke nails Von Erich with a knee lift to the stomach. Tag is made on both sides of the ring, and it's Murdoch who has to square off with DiBiase. Murdoch complains to Raschke about the tag not being quick enough, but it certainly wasn't Raschke's fault. Had Murdoch been in the corner, he could have made that tag. So Murdoch is certainly wrong in blaming Von Raschke, but then again, you know Murdoch's history with tag team partners. He's had his problems staying alive with anyone for any length of time. And that goes from Mickey Garagiola to King Kong Brody, who's in Japan and not at all happy about some of the things he's been hearing Dick Murdoch say. Murdoch slugs DiBiase to the canvas. Raschke stomps on the mat and yells at Murdoch. Raschke, those eyes bugged out as he yells at Murdoch to follow up the advantage, and Murdoch drops DiBiase.
5 minutes have passed, 15 minutes left.
Ted DiBiase in trouble here. Once more, DiBiase blocks that atomic knee drop on Murdoch. Murdoch blocks the atomic knee drop of DiBiase. Well, they're blocking either way. That one scores. That atomic knee drop hit the mark. And so did that forearm smash. Murdoch leveled by DiBiase. Side headlock. Down goes Dick Murdoch. Frantic action today on Wrestling at the Chase, and what more could you expect with a tag team combination like this? Ted DiBiase with a side headlock on Dick Murdoch. Murdoch looking out from inside that headlock for Roschke. Murdoch with an uppercut that spun DiBiase right around. Claw yells. Oh, he yelled a claw at Roschke. And Roschke gets the claw on Murdoch. Roschke has the claw on Murdoch. He missed DiBiase. Murdoch couldn't hold on to the aggressive Ted DiBiase, and Roschke ended up with the claw on Murdoch, and now Murdoch and Roschke have a little disagreement. Dick Murdoch, he'll try anything, he'll do anything, and sometimes it backfires on him. It certainly did there. Roschke forces DiBiase to the ropes, and DiBiase fights back. DiBiase and Roschke were toe-to-toe. Murdoch got in it. Here comes David Von Erich after Murdoch. Murdoch powers in the corner. Now he fights back against David Von Erich. All four men in the ring. Finally, Murdoch gouges the eyes of David Von Erich. Meanwhile, Roschke has a headlock on Ted DiBiase. Believe me, the action is being generated not just by the two people in the ring, but the two outside the ring have been involved just as much. Dick Murdoch, not too happy with the commentary out here, but Murdoch says he's had enough of this. He's going back outside. I don't know if he means outside the ring or outside the building. You never know with Murdoch. He is controversy personified. Here comes Murdoch. He comes up behind DiBiase, who did not see the tag made. Try this one, yells Murdoch at DiBiase as he bangs the elbow off the jawbone of Ted DiBiase. DiBiase sags to the ropes, but comes off with a forearm smash. Side headlock briefly by Murdoch, and then he pounds a fist into the head of DiBiase. Two former Missouri State champions in there right now, Murdoch and DiBiase. Here we go, yells Murdoch. He hooks ahead. He's going for the brainbuster. The suplex or the brainbuster, either name you want. And Murdoch drops DiBiase with the brainbuster. This could be it. Count of two. Oh, and DiBiase. DiBiase pushes off Murdoch, and Murdoch is incensed. He tags Roschke. Roschke trying to follow up the attack. He hoists DiBiase for a backbreaker. The backbreaker by Roschke. At two, DiBiase just won't stay down. Front rolling cradle, a small package by DiBiase. Roschke quickly breaks free. He's a strong, powerful man. Roschke whips DiBiase to the ropes. Oh, Roschke was trying to flip DiBiase. DiBiase nailed him with a kick. Here comes David Von Erich. David Von Erich pounds on Roschke. Drop kick knocks Roschke to the corner. DiBiase right back on top of him. Across the ring goes Roschke. Up and over the top goes Von Roschke. David Von Erich poisons the claw, and Roschke blocks the claw. Roschke blocks the claw. Here comes Murdoch. Von Erich went for the claw on Von Roschke. Whose claw is better? The one of Von Roschke or the one of the Von Erich family? Murdoch's knee lifted to the air, and it bangs into the head of David Von Erich. Roschke chased out of the ring by the referees. Murdoch back on the assault against David Von Erich. Hot and heavy action. What more could you want from any wrestling match, from any wrestling card? David Von Erich tosses Murdoch to the ropes. Flying tackle flattens David Von Erich.
10 minutes have expired, 10 minutes left.
David Von Erich with the claw on Murdoch. Roschke charging into the ring, and he's after David Von Erich. David still hanging on with the claw. Now Roschke with the claw. Roschke with the claw on Von Erich. The Von Erich's own weapon being used against them. Von Roschke with the claw on David Von Erich. Roschke digging in. David Von Erich sagging, starting to lose consciousness as Roschke uses the Von Erich's own weapon against them. David back on his feet, trying to keep his consciousness, trying to keep his head up. He has the claw on Roschke. Both men with claws. Roschke with the claw on Von Erich with the claw on Roschke. They end up in the ropes. If they can get either man to release the claw, finally, both claws broken. The claw against the claw. Boy, you saw it graphically right there. Roschke and David Von Erich. Knee lift by DiBiase flattens Roschke. Body slam by DiBiase. Here comes Murdoch. He breaks up a potential pin. And DiBiase is angrily after Murdoch. DiBiase and Murdoch. DiBiase knocking Murdoch down to the apron. Roschke and David Von Erich battling in the middle of the ring. Murdoch pulls DiBiase outside. Murdoch slamming him into the table. Down goes Ted DiBiase. Murdoch slanging him into the announcer's table. Meanwhile, Roschke and David Von Erich have had their own Donnybrook. Oh, Murdoch slammed into that table. Again, Murdoch driven into the table by DiBiase. DiBiase and Murdoch having a Donnybrook outside the ring. Roschke trying to get out there to see what's going on. David Von Erich and Roschke inside the ring toe-to-toe. The referees try to separate them. Murdoch with a microphone tangled up around him. Holly Hofstetter trying to untangle Dick Murdoch from the cabling outside. As we try to reestablish our building here. DiBiase, atomic knee drop to Von Roschke. Tag made to David Von Erich. Roschke catches a punch from both David Von Erich and Ted DiBiase. Roschke puts his foot on the ropes to avoid being pinned. What more could happen in this match? They've wrecked ringside, I'll guarantee you that. The dropkick floors Roschke. David Von Erich, though, keeping a wary eye on Murdoch. He knows you can never count him out. Murdoch yells Roschke. David Von Erich flung head first into the top turnbuckle. Murdoch lifts David Von Erich and pounds on Von Erich's head. Lee Warren and Chuck Riley, the referees, trying to maintain some sort of order in this knockdown, drag-out, back alley brawl. Murdoch tosses David Von Erich to the ropes and nails him with an elbow right to the chin. Murdoch flying elbow drop. And then Murdoch spits at DiBiase. Here comes DiBiase. Ted DiBiase not in the mood to take anything from Murdoch or Roschke. David Von Erich carried over to the corner. Roschke pounding on David Von Erich as Murdoch holds Von Erich's arms. Murdoch yells something at DiBiase. Roschke pounding on David Von Erich. Murdoch and DiBiase about ready to square off again. Roschke misses the claw. Roschke missed the claw. Tag made to DiBiase. DiBiase pounds away on Von Roschke. Spins him with a punch. Down goes Roschke. Flying elbow drop. Try for a pin. At 2, Roschke shoves off DiBiase. DiBiase and Murdoch once more take a long look at one another. Fists are clenched. Lee Warren trying to break those fists up, but I think by this point it's almost impossible to stop Murdoch and DiBiase from going at one another hammer and tongue, just as it is to stop Roschke and David Von Erich.
15 minutes have passed, 5 minutes left, 5 minutes.
Murdoch charges into the ropes and knocks Riley right off the apron. Down goes Murdoch. The referee, Chuck Riley's been hurt. He's been knocked off the apron. DiBiase goes for the figure 4. The figure 4 leg lock by Ted DiBiase on Dick Murdoch. Roschke trying to get a DiBiase to break up the figure 4. David with the claw on Roschke. David dragging Roschke outside the ring with the claw. Look at that, Roschke being pulled outside the ring by the iron claw of David Von Erich. Finally, the referee gets David Von Erich and Roschke separated, while Murdoch simply refuses to quit against DiBiase. Roschke just won't quit. He's after DiBiase, stomping on him, and the figure 4 is finally broken. David Von Erich tried to get at Roschke, but Chuck Riley, who took a hard blow, stopped him. You have to admire these referees. Even they're taking their lumps in this tag match. Here comes David Von Erich. Both men, Von Erich and DiBiase, slip Roschke for a double atomic knee drop. Can you believe some of the excitement that you have seen in this match? Simply unreal action. Try for a pin, Roschke lifts that arm and manages to push off the hip of David Von Erich. Knee lift by David Von Erich on Roschke. Murdoch crawling up behind Von Erich, but David spotted him. And Roschke charges into Von Erich, who had his eye on Murdoch. Hip toss by Roschke on David Von Erich.
3 minutes left, 3 minutes.
3 minutes remaining, and for 17 minutes, the duos, one side, Von Roschke and Dick Murdoch, the other, David Von Erich and Ted DiBiase, have simply been spectacular, sensational. The short arm scissors by Roschke on David Von Erich. David Von Erich rolled Roschke into a cradle. Murdoch kicked Von Erich, and that allows Roschke to keep the short arm scissors, or the figure 4 arm lock, if you prefer that name for it. David Von Erich manages to lift the shoulder. Give up, yells Roschke to David Von Erich. Certainly nothing has been decided yet as to who has the better claw, although you have to be impressed by the way David Von Erich used the claw to literally drag Roschke out of the ring when Roschke tried to get in there to break up DiBiase's figure 4 leg lock on Murdoch. But even at that, Roschke showed you he could withstand punishment, that he could take the claw, because after that he still got back into the ring, that man, Von Roschke, and attacked Ted DiBiase. Von Roschke with a figure 4 arm lock on David Von Erich. There's the claw. There's the claw by Von Erich on Roschke. The claw by Von Erich on Roschke. Roschke squirming towards the rope. Murdoch's up on the top rope. Murdoch's on the top rope, and there's DiBiase after Murdoch. DiBiase knocks Murdoch off the top rope. Roschke still caught in David Von Erich's claw. There goes Murdoch up on the ropes again. He leaps off the rope. He's caught in the stomach claw. Von Erich has a claw on either man. He had the iron claw on Roschke and the stomach claw on Murdoch, before Murdoch broke it up by gouging the eye of Von Erich. Von Erich needs a tag. Here comes Murdoch. Here comes DiBiase.
1 minute left, 1 minute.
DiBiase, his legs caught by Murdoch. Murdoch spins DiBiase, but DiBiase comes off punching. Murdoch slammed headfirst into the buckle. He can take it too. Those are 4 tough athletes inside that ring. Murdoch takes a bite out of the forehead of DiBiase. I'll tell you, I don't see how any of this quartet can have anything left by this point. They have just been non-stop from the opening bell. Murdoch stomps on the jaw of Ted DiBiase. Murdoch lifts DiBiase for a pile driver. There's the pile driver from Murdoch to DiBiase. Can he pull out a victory with just a few seconds remaining? Murdoch, a bit the worse for wear himself, crawls across DiBiase. There's the bell. And that ends this match as a 20-minute time limit draw. If we can get everybody separated, Roschke and Murdoch back to one corner. They're claiming a victory, but it's not to be. This match is a stalemate, a draw. David Von Erich and Ted DiBiase against Von Roschke and Dick Murdoch. What more could you want? There is no more that you could want. Here's Mickey.
With time running out, the referee declares the match a draw.